Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Talks with the ARC Trust webinar series. My name is Sara Geis, and I am the Senior Director of Engagement for the ARC Master Trust, a program of the ARC of Indiana. We want to thank you all for watching our webinar series. And as a reminder, all of our webinars are available to watch on our website at any time. To see other webinars in our series, you can visit thearctrust.org and click on the webinar and videos button in the banner. In today's webinar, we will be reviewing some of the basics surrounding special needs trusts and how they function. We will also answer the following questions. What is a special needs trust? What is a trustee and what do they do? What types of special needs trusts exist? And how can special needs trusts be administered? So what is a special needs trust? A special needs trust is a way for individuals receiving government benefits like SSI or Medicaid the opportunity to save money without impacting their benefit eligibility. It can also be an option for parents, grandparents, or other individuals who want to provide financial resources to someone receiving government benefits. The person for whom the trust is established is usually referred to as the beneficiary. For certain government benefits, there are resource limits on the amount of financial resources, otherwise known as assets, that a person can have and remain eligible for government benefits. Currently, the resource limit for SSI and Medicaid is $2,000. This means that on the first day of each month, to continue to remain eligible for SSI and Medicaid, a person must make sure that they don't have more than $2,000 in financial resources. Medicaid and SSI are looking at the combined total that someone might have in their checking, savings, or other financial assets. A special needs trust is shielded, meaning that the funds that are in a special needs trust are not considered a resource when determining Medicaid, SSI, or other government benefit eligibility. A person can have as much money or other financial resources in a special needs trust as they would like, and it would not be counted towards their resource limit. Special needs trusts are also a way to better an individual's quality of life. The benefits that the individual receives will still be used to provide for the care and support that they are designed to. A special needs trust can come in then to supplement, not supplant, those benefits. There are rules set forth by Medicaid and Social Security that a special needs trust needs to follow to ensure that the trust does not impact someone's benefit eligibility. One of the primary rules is that the trust can only be used for the primary and sole benefit of the beneficiary, and that the trust is managed by a person or organization identified as the trustee. So what is a trustee? A trustee takes responsibility for managing the assets that have been put in a special needs trust for the benefit of the trust beneficiary. A trustee can be a nonprofit organization like the ARC Master Trust. You could also have a bank or an attorney be a trustee. Other individuals, such as a family member or friend of the beneficiary, can also be named as trustee. In some cases, you can choose to have more than one trustee. This would sometimes be referred to as co-trustees. The trust beneficiary cannot be the trustee of their own trust. A trustee does have responsibilities in managing and administering a special needs trust. They also are involved in working with the beneficiary day to day to ensure that the funds in the trust are being used for their benefit. The trustee is responsible for all fiscal oversight and management. This can include investment strategies as well as tax preparation. It's also important for the trustee to know and understand the rules and regulations that a special needs trust is required to follow to ensure that the trust does not impact the beneficiary's benefits. So there are different kinds of special needs trusts. The biggest differences are the source of the funds that are going into the trust and how the trust has been established. There are two types of special needs trusts, commonly known as third party and first party. A third-party special needs trust is established by another person for the benefit of someone else. Anyone can create a third-party trust on behalf of another person. This could be a parent providing funds for a child, a sibling providing funds for another sibling, or a friend providing funds for a friend. The person who is establishing the trust for the beneficiary is sometimes known as the donor. Usually, someone will establish a third-party trust when they are creating or updating their will or estate planning. They will include the trust so that upon the passing of the donor, funds will go directly from the donor's estate to the third-party special needs trust. A first-party special needs trust is established with financial resources that are in the beneficiary's name or that the beneficiary has either earned or received. That can include Social Security funds, wages, proceeds from a lawsuit settlement, or maybe an inheritance where the beneficiary was named directly. Now that we understand the two types of special needs trusts, third party and first party, we'll now review the ways in which both types of trusts can be set up and administered. The first way we're going to talk about setting up a special needs trust is when one is done privately. A private special needs trust is typically set up with the assistance of an attorney. The person setting up the trust, which would be the donor in the case of a third-party trust or the beneficiary for a first-party trust, will work with the attorney on drafting the trust language. In meetings with the attorney, you might decide what assets are going to be placed into the trust, what the trust can be used for, and naming the trustee or trustees. In a private trust, the trustee might have greater control over the investment strategies for the funds placed in the trust. The private trust might also hold tangible items like a home, vehicle, or property. When choosing a trustee for a private trust, it is important to make sure that the trustee is knowledgeable of the Social Security and Medicaid regulations and the ways in which a special needs trust can and cannot be used for an individual. The trustee is responsible for ensuring that the funds within the trust do not impact the beneficiary's benefit eligibility. A trustee for a private trust can be a person like an attorney or a family member or friend. A trustee could also be a bank or other financial institution. In Indiana, a private first-party special needs trust can only be established for an individual prior to age 65, and funds cannot be added to a first-party private special needs trust if the beneficiary is age 65 or older. Another option is to establish a pooled special needs trust through a nonprofit organization. When you set up a pooled special needs trust, you are really setting up a sub-account within the larger trust itself. This larger trust and the funds within it are pooled for the purpose of investment and/or management. Each beneficiary then has their own unique sub-account, and the funds in their sub-account are monitored and tracked independently. All pooled special needs trusts are administered by nonprofit organizations, and the nonprofit organization is the trustee. This can be beneficial because nonprofits are knowledgeable in government benefits and how a trust can be used for the benefit of the beneficiary. Even though a family member or friend of a beneficiary is not a trustee, that does not mean that they cannot be invested or have input in how the trust is used. In a lot of pooled trust situations, family, friends, the beneficiary, and the pooled trust organization work together to ensure that the trust is being used to support the needs and care of the beneficiary in the best ways possible. Having a pooled special needs trust established alleviates the burden of a family member or friend having the responsibilities or duties of the trustee, while retaining the ability to contribute input for the care of the beneficiary. The pooled trust handles all of the administrative and reporting aspects, so they don't have to. Pooled special needs trusts also usually have lower administrative costs and lower balance minimums, making them more accessible than a private bank or an attorney option. It is important to know that within a pooled special needs trust, pooled trusts are only able to manage cash assets. So a pooled special needs trust is not able to manage tangible items like a home, vehicle, or property. Pooled special needs trusts are available to individuals of any age, and funds can be added to a trust at any age, including first-party special needs trusts. So, knowing that we have two types of special needs trusts, third party and first party, as well as two options for how they can be administered, private and pooled, it could be challenging to determine which special needs trust is right for your situation. As you think about which options you want to do more research on and explore, it might be helpful to ask yourself the following questions. Which type of trust do you need? Remember that it will be determined based on the source of the funding. If you are receiving benefits and you want to save your Social Security money, then you would be looking at a first-party special needs trust. If you are someone who wants to provide money for someone else, then the answer is a third-party special needs trust. What assets do you want protected? Are they cash assets? Or are there stocks, investments, a home, or land that you would want to put in the trust? And how can those assets be placed in the trust options you're looking at? Another question might be if you have a trustee, is there an attorney, bank, or other family member you want acting as your trustee? If you're looking at an attorney or bank, do they have minimum balances before they will agree to administer a special needs trust? Or do you have a pooled trust organization in mind? Are you familiar with how they administer trusts and their investment strategies? What are the costs going to be? This question also might tie into the assets you want to put into the trust. As you're looking at each option, it will be important to ask if there are enrollment fees, administrative fees, or other fees to consider. You will also want to ask if there is a required minimum balance that needs to be in the trust for a bank or an organization to administer it. It's also important to know that you can have as many special needs trusts as you need. It is possible, and sometimes necessary, for a person to have more than one type of trust. All special needs trusts can be used for the benefit of the beneficiary. Thank you all again for watching, and we hope that you found this informative. If you have questions or would like to learn more, please visit us at our website, send us an email, or give us a call. You can also join us on social media to learn more.